Chapter 20. Lights in the Rain. The rain had softened to a mist, a thin silver of threads gliding down through the trees. Daniel could hardly feel his legs anymore. His ankle was useless, swollen and burning. Every step sent knives of pain up his spine, but he pushed on because Lily was still out there. The forest around him whispers in the wet silence. Somewhere far ahead, through the pale veil of rain, there was a shimmering of lights. It was not lightning, this was bright, human lights. There are men on their way. Lily made it. Daniel tried to call out, but his throat was raw, and his voice was only a cracked whisper swallowed by the mist. Daniel heard them first. He heard their boots sinking in the mud and the men's voices shouting his name, but before he could call back, the world went cold. A breath touched the back of his neck. It was hot and foul. He turned slowly, the dread crawling through every nerve, and there it was. The hound. Its eyes burned red in the dim light of the early moon. Its body is no longer just a shadow, but a mass of slick darkness, rippling like tar. Daniel could smell rot and earth. He barely had time to raise an arm before the thing lunged at him. Its teeth, like shards of black glass, sank into his shoulder. The pain was instant and blinding, the teeth like fire tearing through muscle and bone. He screamed. The sound was lost in the rain, his hands clawing at the wet earth. The hound's growl vibrated through him, the hot breath of the hound steaming against his cheek. This is it, this is how he dies. At least Lily is safe. But then, a gunshot, it cracked through the storm like a whip. The creature's head snapped back, a hiss like metal on glass spilling from its throat. It released him and recoiled into the mist and forest, dissolving back into a shadow once more. Daniel collapsed fully, gasping for air, feeling the warm blood running down from his neck. The mud was turning dark beneath him, and his vision blurred and shapes were moving above him. A man with a shotgun dropped to his knees beside him, the rain dripping from his hat brim, his voice a strained rasp. "You're safe now, son." Daniel's breath came in shallow bursts, his body trembling against the cold and shock. The world pulsed in and out of focus. The light, the rain, their voices, and the pain all bleed together. "Hold on, kid," someone shouted, his voice muffled by the storm. Strong arms were lifting Daniel off the ground, his head lolling against a man's shoulder. He caught flashes of faces circling him. The pain in his shoulder flared as they carried him through the rain. He tried to speak, to warn them that the hounds were still close, but the words never made it past his lips. The world dimmed, tilting sideways. "Get him in the truck," another man barked. Boots pounded against wet earth and the heavy slam of a tailgate followed. And Daniel felt the rough metal of the flatbed beneath him, the cold seeping into his back. The smell of fuel and his blood mingled thick in the air, then the howls. They rose from the tree line, deep and furious, echoing across the fields. The shapes moved within the mist-covered trees. The hound crawling out of the darkness like living smoke, their red eyes burned through the rain. "Left side," one of the men shouted. Shotguns thundered, the blasts cracking through the storm. The shotgun muzzles flared bright in the rain, smoke curling into the mist. The shells, packed with salt, tore through the shadows, scattering them into black mist. "Keep firing." Another round, another flash. The hounds are falling back, retreating to the edge of the field, snarling and pacing just beyond the reach of the headlights. Daniel tried to lift his head, but his vision was swimming. The men were reloading and shouting orders, standing between him and the monsters like a wall of mud-soaked guardians. Then the darkness swept over him again, soft and heavy, pulling him under.